and welcome back to week 4 of Christmas in July. If you're new here, welcome, and please check out the previous Christmas in July series videos. And if you're not new here, thank you so much for your support. So, this week we are going to be making adorable little Christmas coasters. I used wooden circles. For this, you can use other options. I do also use the little wooden pallets that you can buy in a lot of craft shops just to give you two different options. I will also leave the link below of the music sheets I used. I just found some adorable little Christmas ones. I know a lot of people do order in stencils and do have crickets for all that stuff, but I don't have that and I want to make this as cost effective as possible. So I did just print out some music sheets online. Like I said, I'll leave the link below. You're going to go ahead and you're just going to want to trace round whatever you're using as your base for these coasters. I used some wooden circles to start off with, and then you're just going to go and cut out your shapes. Once you've cut out your shapes, you're going to want to get some Mod Podge. And with the Mod Podge, you're going to generously coat the side that you have printed with the ink. So you're going to have it face down. So the pretty picture you have printed is going to be stuck face down onto your coasters. I am doing it the complicated way. I just prefer how it comes out this way. If, however, you do want to do the simplified way and not make so much mess and take up so much time, you can just use the Mod Podge like glue onto the back of the image like you normally do, and then glue that down and add some Mod Podge to the top for an extra protective coating. However, if you want the same effect that I want, go ahead and add the Mod Podge to the side where the ink is on the paper. You are then going to place the ink face down onto your coaster like so. So the rear that's facing you is the plain paper. You're then going to go and want to rub it in very, very well so there is no glue bumps and no air gaps. You're going to want to do this to all your coasters or as many as you want. And then let that dry. It took about 10 minutes for this to dry, which was the perfect amount of time to make a cup of tea. Then, once it's dried, you're going to want to go ahead and make sure your hands are nice and wet. And you're going to want to rub off the paper in a circular motion. Whilst you're rubbing off the paper, you'll notice that the ink has transferred onto the material that you have Mod Podged it onto. So in my case, it's transferred onto the wood. This paper will then remove itself with the water. So it is a messy and it is a tedious process. So this is why I recommend if you don't want mess and you want it to be quick, just to use the Mod Podge like glue and glue it on. However, even though this process is longer, I do honestly think it's worth it. It's so pretty, and having it transferred onto there without the white background just gives it a gorgeous vintage effect. You're going to go ahead and you're going to let this dry so there's no water left on your wood or whatever material you're using. I want to just point out that this technique also works on fabric. So if you ever want to Mod Podge something onto fabric, this technique it works also. Once your coasters are nice and dry, you're then going to go ahead and you're going to add another layer of Mod Podge on top of this. This just seals it all in and protects it and prevents the ink from coming off or bleeding off the coasters. I then went ahead and I used the exact same technique on my mini palettes. These you can get from many shops. I just got mine from the local craft shop. But I have noticed if you buy sticky notes and notepads, you can find them on the back of them. And I did the exact same technique here where I glued it ink side down and I did rub it off. However, my camera did die, so you did not get to see me finalize this product, unfortunately. But at the end, you can see the final result. Once you have done all your Mod Podging, you are then going to go ahead and you are going to start painting. So I did use blues, silvers and whites. That's just because that's the color scheme. My house at Christmas. So colors are personal preference to you. Again, you don't have to do any of this technique. I just think it's an adorable, quirky, different way to have Christmas coasters and customizable for all the family. This is also a very kid friendly craft, so you can do this with your children. Once that's done, I did go ahead and start drawing on a reindeer to my other poster, the one that's in the shape of the crate. So for one coaster, I did choose to do a reindeer. This is going to be my partner's coaster, and his recommendations were he wanted a reindeer on his coaster. The other four, unfortunately, my camera did die, and I didn't realize until finalizing the product. So the other four coasters that you've seen me do the Mod Podge on, you won't see me paint, but you will see the final product at the end. So for this, I just made sure to evenly spread out the paint and make sure it dried in its layers. I do like adding glitter to everything, so these coasters were very sparkly. I would like to point out, once you have finished painting and adding your glitter, let it fully dry. Once it's fully dried, you are then going to go in and add another layer of Mod Podge onto your coaster, whether it's the musical sheets that you add paint on top of, or whether it's this coaster here I'm doing where it's just a layer of paint to start off with. Once you are finalized, you add the Mod Podge. This will help seal everything in, prevent any glitter from running, and then when you add hot drinks to it, it's a protective layer to stop anything from coming off. This craft is so simple and straightforward. You can also buy some cheap coasters from your local dollar shop, and then you can just repaint them and refinish them and add your Mod Podge on top just to give it that protective coating. It might be more cost effective for you, or just use old ones that you have at the house. That works also. Unfortunately, after this is the final footage I do have, and you don't get to see me add all the glitter onto my reindeer because my camera did die. However, you will see the finished product. And if you like this video, please support me by subscribing, liking, and please leave a comment. And I'll look forward to hearing what your thoughts are and if there's anything else you'd like me to create. And these are the finished products. These all have a protective layer on so they won't get damaged. And they are super easy to make. I love how these turned out. I think they are adorable and they are affordable. So please give them a try and I look forward to seeing your creations.